nation and political power. Put these three together and what you get is Hindutva, right? And what kind of culture? Popular culture. Somebody else can say, I do not believe in any kind of God or something. And yet everybody qualifies to be a Hindu. Between two things, you are assuming that all three are in the same plane, right? Otherwise, one thing cannot stand between two things. The thing is, these three, very interestingly, is not the same as being a Sanatani. Now, you are a Hindu if you live in a belief system. Whereas you can be a Sanatani only if you discard all beliefs. Because truth and beliefs do not go together. There is not much in common between Hinduism and Hindutva. And there is not much in common between Sanatan Dharma and Hinduism. Sanatan Dharma is a pursuit of truth. The thing is, these three do not belong to the same plane. They are dimensionally apart. Very, very different things. They are incomparable. They are not in the same dimension. Their very units are different. So, Sanatan Dharma, as we said, is a philosophy of the mind that gives a purpose to life. It looks at the human being. It looks at the mind of the human being. It tries to see why we suffer so much, and then it tries to find an end to the suffering, a way out, a solution. That is Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma is philosophical. Then comes Hinduism. What is Hinduism? The Supreme Court has very aptly put it. It's just various streams of beliefs coming together. So beliefs, you can believe the way you want to believe, somebody else can believe the way he wants to believe, and somebody else can say, I do not believe in any kind of God or something. And yet everybody qualifies to be a Hindu. So Hinduism is about beliefs. Sanatan Dharma is a relentless and ruthless discovery of the truth. So these two are poles apart. Being a Hindu, in that sense, very interestingly, is not the same as being a Sanatani. Now, you are a Hindu if you live in a belief system. Whereas you can be a Sanatani only if you discard all beliefs. Because truth and beliefs do not go together. A Sanatani is someone who has to be free of all beliefs. Beliefs are bondages. And the Sanatan Marg is that which leads to liberation. So you cannot carry your bondages to your point of liberation, right? So unfortunately, much of Hinduism that we see around us is just about this story or that story, this ritual or that ritual, and beliefs very quickly slip into becoming superstitions. So there are these beliefs, superstitions, assumptions, and a lot of pseudoscience as well. So sadly, that's what most of Hinduism is about. But Sanatan Dharma, that's something dimensionally different. That's something of the skies. You look at yourself, you figure out what is it that ensnares you. You look at yourself, you ask, where are your beliefs coming from? Where are your ideas coming from? Where are your desires, hopes, ambitions, relationships? Where are all these things coming from? And then you ask yourself, where am I in all this? If all my desires are coming from external influences, if my targets, goals, ideologies, all are borrowed stuff, where am I in all this? It's all just a collection of imprints that I have somehow started calling as I. So that's Sanatan Dharma. The Sanatan Dharma is beautiful, neat, very rigorous, and very unaccommodating in that sense. Hinduism, we have talked of. We see all around us what Hinduism is. Uh, One good thing, however, about Hinduism is that it is quite liberal. Mm. You can you can worship the deity of your choice. You can go your own way, and there is no central authority that would declare you a non-Hindu. Mm. Then comes Hindutva. Now, Hindutva again is something totally different. It is not related in a deep sense even to Hinduism. Hmm? If you will go to the academic side and look at the definition of Hindutva, it's a political ideology. It's a political ideology that wants to uphold cultural nationalism. Hmm? So these three are very different, and there is hardly anything that unifies these three. However, in common belief and in common parlance, these three somehow have come to mean broadly the same thing, or at least these three terms point in the same direction in the common imagination. That is not right. There is not much in common between Hinduism and Hindutva, and there is not much in common between Sanatan Dharma and Hinduism. Hmm? Sanatan Dharma is a pursuit of truth. Hinduism, belief system, and Hindutva, it's a political ideology dealing in culture. A particular kind of culture must rule, and culture and nation must be synonymous, right? So, culture, nation, and political power. Put these three together, and what you get is Hindutva, right? And what kind of culture? Popular culture. Not culture that is really flowing from, let's say, the Upanishads or Vedanta, but popular culture of the last 100, 200 years. You assume that is the authentic Hindu culture, whatever that means. So you take that culture, and along with that, you take nationalism, and you take these two as synonymous, and then you say these two deserve to rule politically. That is Hindutva. So Sanatan Dharma, Hinduism, Hindutva, all three very different animals.
From breaking news, detailed analysis, in depth interviews, and explainers, follow the Times of India. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like our videos and hit the bell icon to stay updated with the latest.